Welcome, everybody, to another brand new episode of John and Wendy Explain the World. I am the John in that equation, John Rocha the Outlaw here, joined by the Wendy in that equation. Wendy Lee, how are you?
I am so good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's a little hot down here. It's a little sweaty down in San Diego. I got a fan on my face. I got a fan going on in the living room, but, you know, you got the two lights here going, and the computer gets hot sometimes. So I'm doing the best I can to hang in there, but I'm excited to be back here to have some fun talking about some interesting stories here on our show today. How are you overall doing there in LA? How are things there?
It's not as hot up here, but I've only gone outside like twice today. So, you know, trying to stay in. I've got the sunblock on. No, things are good. I got my coffee. I had to peel myself away from this K-drama that I'm so close to finishing. I think I have 2 episodes to go.
Okay.
It's not a new one. It's came out, I think, last year or the year before that. Maybe Crash. I think it's 3 years old. Crash Landing on You. It's excellent.
Wow. Okay.
Where I'm very invested. I almost stayed up after watching The Bad Batch yesterday. Like when I finished my edit, I almost stayed up to just finish watching. But each episode is an hour and a half. So I was like, that's 4 hours.
Woo.
Total of what I had left, and I don't think I could have stayed up 4 hours longer. So
yeah, I haven't watched Bad Batch yet. Last week's episode or this week's episode, I haven't watched them, so I'm gonna definitely.
Well, now you can watch the finale.
That's what I'm saying. We're gonna do it together because we're gonna do our review live with the Geek Buddies and Laura Kelly on Sunday night. So I'm like, okay, I got some time, and I've been able to hang out on social media. It seems like people haven't been spoiling it, so that's a positive. So I'm looking forward to watching it for sure when I get some time, either later tonight or tomorrow, for sure, because the lady is going to work on her photography studio. So I'll be able to hang out and relax tomorrow and catch up on stuff I want to watch, which is nice. A rare Saturday where I actually get to relax. I'm looking forward to it. Speaking of relaxing, I hope you all can relax and hang out with us for the next hour and a half as we get into all these subjects that are going on here in the world of entertainment. There's a new cast for Avatar: The Last Airbender. Venom 2 is being pushed. There's 45-day theatrical windows. We got Britney Spears news. We've got some pumpkin spice cup of noodles. We've got some park news, all kinds of stuff happening. And then, of course, near the end of the show, Wendy and I will give you our recommendations for stuff you can enjoy this weekend or this week, and review a couple things if there's enough time of the stuff we've watched so far. All right, Wendy, where shall we start?
Let's go. Yep. Avatar State. Let's talk about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Netflix. This is the live action series. Casting has been confirmed by all the big outlets and by Netflix themselves. So this is obviously not a film. It is just the live action series that will live on Netflix. And they have found their 4 series regular leads, including Aang, Katara, Sokka, and Zuko. And so we'll go down the list and we'll start with the actor who is playing Aang, Gordon Cormier, and then we have Kia Wentio, I believe is how you say her name. Okay. Ian Owsley and Dallas Liu have all joined the series, and that is, you know, in the respective order: Aang, Katara, Sokka, and Zuko. I'm really liking the look of this cast.
Look at this
so
cast.
We go ahead and look at that.
Wendy, this is age cast.
The right age.
Right. Oh yeah, the right
looks.
Well, yeah. This looks fantastic, Wendy. I've yet to finish Avatar. I know people are obsessed and love that show. Winston A. Marshall, Michael Vogel from one of the Geek Buddies, is a massive fan of the show. But this is such great casting, and someone put them up. I don't have the picture, but someone put them up against the actual characters, and it's almost like a 1-to-1. How excited are you when you look at this cast? How excited are you when you look at what they're going to do here? Because remember, the creators, the original creators have moved off this series through creative differences to do something else. So does the casting and the announcement of all the showrunners, which I think you'll announce as well, does that all put you in a really good frame of mind for this show?
Well, I'll say this first. The fact that the original creators left the series does worry me just a little bit over creative differences. I mean, they created the animated show that we all love and adore. So what exactly was the creative difference, and like where did the other people want to take this show exactly when the source material has been already made, packaged? I have the DVDs right here at home. Right. So like, you know, kind of moving forward. Okay, sorry, I'm going to pause myself. Sure. Speaking to that, the original creators also worked alongside Shyamalan when he made the movie. Yeah. And we all kind of know how we feel about the movie.
Yes, we do.
So like I'm trying to argue with myself in my head that like it's okay that they left over creative differences, because maybe the folks at Netflix, you know, I look at their team there, like maybe it's gonna be real good. I just don't want them to stray from the source material.
Yeah,
we love the source material. We love these characters and their arcs. Please don't change it. So that's kind of what I'm a little nervous about. So, and you were saying that the original creators, obviously originally attached to this, left in August 2020, that they were no longer involved. And since then, they've announced a new deal with Nickelodeon to establish Avataer Studios, which is going to create a whole new animated series and film sets within the Avataer universe, which I absolutely love. So we'll see how that goes. For the casting, I think the age is correct. I think they look great. When I look at Sokka, especially, I can see Sokka. I can hear some of the jokes. I can see in his face that he can kind of so I was trying to kill a bug.
No, sorry.
He can kind of embrace that like really adorable, dorky comic relief, you know, with the timing, and also kind of play up the big brother, because he is technically older than Katara. And then looking at Zuko there, Dallas Liu, who is playing young Shang-Chi in Legend of the Ten Rings. Right. So you already know the boy knows martial arts. And then you just kind of look at this like intensity he has on this face of the photo that you put up there. Yeah. I see Zuko. Just put a scar over the one side of his face. You got Zuko. I can already see it. These photos that they pulled are perfect. And I think Aang Gordon looks absolutely adorable. And I think he's going to be able to deliver those very heartfelt, touching moments, those cute moments, and those moments that will make you cry like we all did when we watched the animated show. So I am really optimistic about this series and the casting. I think the casting is correct finally this time around, because the last time it was not good.
It's a good combo with the casting. If you look at the people behind the scenes here on the production side of things, Albert Kim will be the showrunner. He worked on Sleepy Hollow and Nikita, which I think is the Maggie Q show. And Maggie Q has a new film coming out next week, Protege, with her and Michael Keaton going at it with Samuel L. Jackson as well. The executive producer and writer of the series is Ryback's Dan Lin, who did the Lego movie and Aladdin. Lindsay Liberatore is part of this as well, who's executive producing, along with Michael Goy, who did Swamp Thing. A lot of people like that first season of Swamp Thing, American Horror Story. Rosanna Ling is co-executive producer, and Goy, Roseanne Ling, and Jabbar Raizani will serve as directors as well. Albert Kim is going to write the series and bills the series as an authentic adaptation of the award-winning and beloved Nickelodeon show. Kim also spoke to the authenticity here, Wendy. He said a live-action version would establish a new benchmark in representation and bring a whole new generation of fans. This was a chance to showcase Asian and indigenous characters as living, breathing people, not just in a cartoon, but in a world that truly exists, very similar to the one we live in. So I think all the words that are being said are positive words, the correct words, and they should give you a lot of hope that this could turn out to be a fantastic series from everybody involved.
I really hope so, man. I can't handle another bad Avatar live action. I was so excited. I was so excited when Shyamalan was making it, because he was saying like all the positive things, right? His kids were a big fan of the show. They'd watched the series together. The original creators were kind of, kind of being consultants on the project and this and that. And then fast forward to us all seeing that movie in theaters, and was like completely let down. They mispronounced characters' names. They decided to change it, and I didn't understand why, when you already have a very popular animated series that was very much established with these characters and these arcs. I think the acting wasn't, like, especially for Fire Nation, because it was Curtis, he was the Fire Lord. Curtis, oh God, what's his name? And Dev Patel was Prince Zuko. So like, I like that, but other than that, I had many more problems with it. You also, like, I just never sat okay with me when they went ahead and called Uncle Iroh Uncle Iroh, and I'm like, what is this? Why are we trying to make it your own? It's not yours. It's established. I was so mad. I was so mad about it. So one of the things that Kim said is that, let's see, if it ain't broke, why fix it? It's listed in the Variety article here. And he said, but the more I thought about it, the more intrigued I became. Visual effects technology have advanced to the point where a live action version cannot only faithfully translate where had been done in animation, it can bring in a rich new visual dimension to a fantastic world. We'll be able to see bending in a new and visceral way we've never seen before. So I had better see some, I'm pretty sure martial arts is going to be on point, but the visual for the water bending, the fire bending, all that stuff, like it had better look sick AF. Like I remember watching, they only showcased in the movie the earthbenders for like a hot second. And they did literally felt like 3 minutes of like hand movements to move a pebble. And I'm like, if Toph was here, she would not be okay with it, who is my favorite character from the show. And I can't wait to see who they cast as Toph. I imagine she won't come on until season 2. So
Right.
And well, I'm going to drop my name in the hat and play, if they ever go to Bossy and Say, if they go to season 2, Bossy and Say, I want to play Judy.
Okay. Let's put it in motion.
Do a Simu and put it out there.
Yeah, speak it out of the universe. You never know what can happen. You know, this film came out in 2010, Wendy, and you look at this cast and you are shocked. Like, you're just really shocked at how they messed this up. I mean, Dev Patel, obviously of Indian descent, so Asian there as Prince Zuko, but Aang, I think Noah Ringer, is he half? I think he might be half.
I want to say
Asian?
I think he's got some, maybe perhaps.
Nicola Peltz, that does not look anywhere near. And Jackson Rathbone. You did have Cliff Curtis, who is of New Zealand.
Cliff Curtis, yes.
Asif Manvi. But then, like, you look down the cast, and Randall Duck Kim and Kyung Sim seem to be the only really full-on, very obviously Asian actors. So yeah, certainly a lot of decisions were made here to make this quote unquote friendly for the white audiences, possibly to make it palatable for the white audiences, as opposed to honoring the material and making people and trusting that people will come to it if you do it well rather. So what a mistake by M. Night Shyamalan here overall, and people will just speak very unhappily about that film. And you're right, hopefully the series on Netflix is going to turn that around. People are going to be excited about it. You get some really good representation overall. So yeah, I think this is fantastic. So
fingers crossed. Please let it be good. please let it be good. I love Avatar so much, but please let it be good. I swear I have a full, I'm way too old to play her now in any sort of like television or movie, but like at a cosplay convention, like I've got my Toph costume in that closet. She is my favorite.
Make it happen. If anybody is watching who's a casting director or assistant to cast director on this situation, make it happen. Make it happen.
Yes.
All right. Where are we off to next, Wendy? We'll keep tabs on this for sure as it goes along. And they cast more people in this. What do we got going on?
Well, we're talking about movies, and some movies it looks like it's going to get delayed, specifically talking about Venom. Venom sequel has been delayed just by 1 month, though. September to now it's October 15th, which honestly makes that weekend such a powerhouse weekend because we've got Venom 2 coming out that weekend. We've got Halloween Kills coming out that weekend. We also have The Last Duel, 3 very different movies, and all of those will get butts in seats. So I'm not too concerned right now because it's only pushed back 1 month. What I am concerned about is the unknown variable of this pandemic and of this Delta variant. And we're seeing, various places such as New York and San Francisco. I think they're mandating all indoor stuff to show proof of vaccine, I believe is what I read. I don't know when that's going into effect. I don't know if it was immediately or not. And so how that will factor into how many people are able to get inside the theater to watch said movies. And 2, hopefully that this Delta variant, in October isn't going to get worse. Like I'm really praying, hoping that no one has to go back into lockdown again. Cause that was, I understand why. I just like, just because I comply with it doesn't mean I'm happy with it. I just want to, save people's lives by doing my part, my small part of staying home and being lazy, I guess. So it just makes me worry because sometimes you worry about the domino effect, right? One film gets delayed, then do they all get delayed? Like, what was the first movie that in 2020 that went down?
Great question.
Quiet Place 2?
I think it was Mulan. It was Mulan, because remember Mulan?
Yes, that was the last premiere I went to in 2020. That was the last one.
It had a press screening. Oh no, it had a premiere. And then
and a press screening.
It had one press screening, and then was having a second press screening. It was the second press screening that was canceled and then pushed. And then A Quiet Place is the one that was announced almost immediately afterwards as being pushed. And then it became an avalanche on down the line here. And this is why I wanted to talk about this and put it on the rundown for us, Wendy, because we could be looking at a repeat of 2021, 2020 rather, all over again now.
So bad.
At this point, I'm not going to see Top Gun Maverick or James Bond until 2030. It's insane what was happening here with this madness. And I'm looking at the stats for the Delta variant now. The World Health Organization suggested Wednesday that unless things change, the world could see 100 million more cases of COVID-19 by the early months of next year. And this is the quote: at the current trajectory, we could pass 300 million cases early next year. He said, but we can change that. It's just people need to understand we're all in this together, but the world is not acting like it. So the Delta variant is, and this is a real thing. We have to kind of factor into all of this, Wendy, because this announcement, it's only a few weeks, but that's exactly how they did it when they started doing it. They go, oh, we're delaying it a month, or we're delaying it a few weeks, and all of a sudden they would just keep kicking the can down the road. And it's becoming a problem. And a lot of people that I've read, feel like the receipts for Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad are reflective of the fact that people don't want to come back to the theater. Shang-Chi is getting a theaters only exclusive screening. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but that is going to be a real litmus test for where we're at. I'm driving up for the screening on Wednesday to hang out with the Geek Buddies and watch it at the El Cap. But I'm concerned about whether this thing is going to actually do well because of what's happening with the Delta variant. And now with Venom 2 being pushed, because it started internationally, now it's domestically. Are we going to start to see or hear news, Wendy, of some of these films getting pushed yet again?
Yeah, you worry about especially when these, tentpole films that have a very strong fan base, comic book movies specifically have a very, very big fan base. When you hear about Venom, then you start thinking about, okay, what's the upcoming DC film or Marvel film, or, big ticketed, like Dune is coming up,
right? Dune.
So when we start seeing a big film, a big sequel like Venom, you do start to worry. I really hope that it's just us being worried about it and nothing will change. Because you think about, they've already been, a lot of these films been delayed for over a year at this point. And I believe I even heard we were talking about, you mentioned the Bond film. Didn't they have to insert certain scenes because the technology didn't match up to when the movie, so it's and that makes me think about Mission Impossible, how much more reshoot can there be? Production and the cost, time is money. And so you just keep piling the money on to feeding it into the production, which is something you need to do, movies, But then if you're not getting that return when the movie finally comes out, not because people are not interested in it. It's not that. I'm very much interested in all these huge movies that are coming out. I'm such a diehard for Mission Impossible, but it's also, you got to be aware. It's I live with another person. So if I go out and watch movie that are all indoors, I, knock on wood, catch COVID. Now I'm going to isolate myself from my husband. We live in the same apartment, what? So, and then he works in a public space. So then do we both just have to stay home? We both have to quarantine and make sure we're both negative before we can even go out into the world. So it's a whole ripple effect that people don't think about. Sometimes I'm not saying don't live your life, but be cautious, right? Sure. If you're going to go out into the theater, you're not going to be indoors for a long time, wear a mask, wash your hands, don't touch your eyes. I'm that's, I've done that for years at Comic-Con. I rarely get sick at Comic-Con. Because I don't touch my face, which is a very hard thing to do because I love touching my face. I'm always touching my face, because I have bad allergies. So I'm always rubbing my nose. My eyes are itchy. This thing itches, whatever it may be. So it's like a lot of times if you see my hands down here, I'm sitting on my hands so I don't touch my face.
Yeah, I mean, and the other part of this, the other film to look at, Wendy, is this weekend, Free Guy. How is Free Guy going to do? It has incredible reviews. I loved it.
But so did Suicide Squad.
Yeah, Suicide Squad had fantastic reviews as well. So and Jungle Cruise underperformed. Black Widow had an absolute nosedive in its second weekend, and then the Suicide Squad underperformed. What's going to happen with Free Guy? Because Free Guy is not a franchise film. Yes, it's got Ryan Reynolds and Jodie Comer, but if it's not a Deadpool movie, are people going to line up to watch this one? I don't know. And Jodie Comer is well known for being Killing Eve on a cable channel, AMC.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
I mean, how many people have actually seen her in that show? And how much will that actually translate to people going to see the movie in the theaters? We don't know. So, I mean, this is all factoring in here. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. But I also think, which you brought up all the good points, those Suicide Squad and Free Guy are two very different type of movies. Yes, there's a certain amount of violence in it, but one is a little bit, I don't want to call it satire. One is a little bit more tongue-in-cheek in a family-friendly way because it's about a video game, so it's kind of like simulated, technically not real. There's a lot of more jokes in it versus like the graphic nature of that is the Suicide Squad. And I don't believe Free Guy is rated R.
No, it isn't. You're right about that.
So that's just a little bit of difference. So I think maybe like Free Guy is more of a family friendly film for like, 10 and up, 12 and up. Right. And Suicide Squad's a little bit more like, well, sorry, middle school kids, like you can't go to this by yourself and your parents don't want to go.
Right. Well,
so that could maybe have, something to affect the ticket sales as well.
You make excellent points, Wendy. And so if it underperforms, then because of your excellent points, that makes it even more of a sign, I think, or more of a flag or red flag, because this one, you could argue, has more appeal than Suicide Squad, as you just pointed out, with the family-friendly atmosphere, the fact that it's not R-rated. You've got someone like Ryan Reynolds, who's a great lead for comedies like this. And so you think, this should translate to a really good box office return, but will it? I don't know. We'll find out for sure as this goes along over the weekend. And if it underperforms, then I think we're going to start to see a lot of studios start to reconsider this situation.
God, I hope not. I don't want to go down that route at all. I really don't.
I mean, we already had Clifford completely taken off the slate. The big red dog that was taken off the slate by Paramount Pictures. And they said because of the Delta variant, they actually said that. And Venom and Clifford were both only supposed to be theatrically released. So that could be an issue. Sony doesn't have a streaming service. So is that part of the issue why they're...
Put it on Disney Plus.
Yeah, there you go. If they're
Premier
pushing...
Access.
Or PS5. Put it on the PS5. Sony PlayStation.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
They got stuff. So, I mean, that could be a possibility, too.
I will run out right now and buy a PS5 if that is the case. A free copy of Free Guy with your PS5.
Or Venom. Yeah, exactly.
Or Venom. Sorry, Venom.
So it's crazy. So I'm just worried. I'm just concerned what's going to happen, and if we're going to start to see more and more of the streaming stuff and what have you. And theaters are just, Wendy, theaters are just starting to glimpse the possibility of coming back and everything like that. And this could just send it all back down, tumbling down again, which is a shame. Absolutely a shame.
Yeah. And speaking of box office and, studios spending all this money on these big tentpole movies, productions, I want to point out the comment from NK Songbird who writes, saw an article citing No Time to Die has to make approximately $900 million to break even and opens in October. That seems doomed.
Yeah.
I don't know. And there's, speaking of, and I don't want to stay on this topic forever because I know we've got a lot to go through, but, more than just movie releases, right? We've got also live events coming back.
Yeah.
We've got, which we're going to talk about in a little bit, horror nights in both parks on both coasts. Yes. We've got Mickey's The Oogie Boogie Bash, which I believe have started, and the other, Spooky Haunts and like horror conventions and stuff like that. Like that's the season for us. So if film starts to get, pushed back, and theme parks are going to be, I know they're following the trends. They have to, right? Because the business, and they've already spent all the money hiring the actors, training them, go to like skier school, whatever you want to call it. Tickets have gone on sale. Merch have been ordered. Like that's money.
Yeah.
It's a gamble. It's a gamble because we don't know with this pandemic. So it's like also doesn't make sense to be like, let's just not do anything at all. Then you're losing money anyways.
Yeah.
So it's definitely putting a lot of people in a tough spot, and a lot of businesses have to make these decisions. That's kind of like, I really hope I'm making the right one, but you just don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. I wish we could have a better insight and better forecast on this entire thing. I really thought that like things would be okay, mostly okay by now, but now I feel like we're back to, not quite as bad as like the worst part of 2020, but it's looking a little grim. It's starting to look, I'm starting to get a little worried.
Well, the reaction before last year was, let's delay everything and let's see what this is all about. I like that the reaction now is, oh, you're going to get vaccinated. You don't get to come in here unless you're vaccinated. You don't get to fly on the plane unless you get vaccinated. You don't get to come to this movie theater unless you're vaccinated. You don't get to come to this restaurant unless you're vaccinated. So I like that the attitude has changed, that people were like, okay, 1 year was enough of this shit. If you people aren't going to get vaccinated, you don't get to come in here. Fuck that. There's enough people who are getting vaccinated who can have access to our goods and our supplies and our restaurants and our movie theaters. So if you're not going to get on the train, man, for reasons, for anything other than medical reasons, then you need to get the fuck out of here. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of fingers crossed, ladies and gentlemen, we're 27 minutes into the show, and I forgot to remind you that we would love to get some Streamlabs and Super Chats from you all as we go through the show here. We got another hour left in the show. Please send in your Streamlabs and Super Chats. I've pinned the message in the chat. It's also in the description of this video and right above our heads there in the center. Send in your Streamlabs comments, questions, thoughts, support for the show. We love doing it every Friday. We'd love to get your support to send us into a good place over the weekend, and know that you want us to keep coming back doing this show every Friday for you all to enjoy. All right, Wendy, where are we off to next?
Well, since we're on the topic of movies, let's talk some more movie theater business news. So we all remember kind of at the beginning of 2020 when theaters were forced to shutter. AMC had the CEO had released a statement basically saying that they weren't happy with certain various studios' decision on going day to day, which, you kind of fast forward to today. It's kind of not a strange thing to hear anymore, releasing day and day. You're like, oh, okay. So they went away with, I think it was like the 70 or 90 day period traditionally. So now AMC, we're back with another statement, but like less hot this time around. They have struck a new deal with WB, and this is for a 45-day theatrical window for the studios to release it. And this is going to begin in 2022. So for the remaining year of 2021, we will still get said WB movies day and date release to HBO Max and in theaters. But, next year, that's not going to be the case anymore. So going a much shorter period from the traditional 90-day, for digital release, which I think it's going to be really interesting to see this, because I think for us, the audience, when we first hear about a new movie, we're excited. We want to go see it right away, because the thought of waiting 90 days for it to come out on home release is a bit long. But now 45 days, a little bit different. And I wonder how that's going to affect the attendance at movie theaters. Yeah.
Because you look at it, that's a month and a half. That's it, 45 days. And the way things are going, how quickly this year has already gone. We're almost, we're halfway through August. Halloween is right around the corner. It's crazy how quickly this year is going by. It's slowed down certain moments, but overall it feels like it's been going quicker. So this idea of waiting 45 days, I mean, if you're sitting at your house anyway because of the Delta variant or COVID or whatever, and you're filling your time up with watching other stuff and working on other stuff, then the 45 days goes quick. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I agree. Plus families, do you want to take your kids out? Do you want to expose them to the possibility of being in a theater and seeing this situation? I don't know. I think it's better. You know what? We can wait. And that is a possibility. So I agree with you. I think this will absolutely affect box office receipts. It'll affect numbers and subscribers for these streaming services for sure. And in the end, we'll have to adjust our expectations for what makes a film a hit and what doesn't make a film a hit because of the all the factors that are surrounding this situation, and I think that needs to be important because everyone's like, okay, it has to make 2.5 times its budget. Yes, in a perfect world, a utopian world where everybody can go to the theater, yes, that's absolutely right. But now we may have to adjust our perception of what a hit of a movie is during pandemic/COVID times. For example, if it only makes half its budget back, is that a hit? Because the budget was $400 million. So if it made $200 million, is that a hit because it made that much and no other film came close to $200 million? So those are those conversations we might have to start looking at and adjusting in our minds.
Yeah. And just to speak a little bit more about AMC, they were one of the top movie theater chains in the nation, if not the world. I want to say the nation. And they were kind of forced into a corner there. Theaters were shuttered, all theaters, big and small. And they were losing money. You saw kind of the statements all the time. And then we heard the unfortunate news of Pacific Theaters closing their doors forever. But then AMC kind of swooped in and they picked up 8 older ArcLight cinema locations. 2 of them that's in LA, the one that's at the Grove, and the one that's the Americana. Those are the Pacific Theater locations. So those will now be AMC theaters. So I would say AMC, definitely picked themselves up and dust themselves off again. And I think, from kind of fighting with WB about over the release schedule to striking a new deal is a good sign. It's a positive thing. I'm very curious to see where it goes from here and if AMC is going to strike a similar deal with other studios and does that become the trend moving forward? We don't know. This is, first it starts, but I feel like in the coming days, depending on where this Delta variant or what other variants there are, how that progresses, we will see how our movie theater world changes with this whole new thing here.
It's true. We have to adjust our perceptions. And like Aaliyah once said, if at first you don't succeed, you just dust yourself off and try again.
Hey. Hey.
Oh. All right. Where are we off to? Shang-Chi is the next conversation, I think, right? It's not streaming on Disney Plus, Wendy.
It's not going to premiere on Disney Plus. And it's going to have it's actually, speaking of the 45-day window, this is going to be the Marvel movie. It's going to be the first one to have a shortened, it's the 45 theatrical window. I believe then it arrives on Disney Plus. I'm trying to find it in the article here. So it's not being released on Disney Plus right away. And then 45 days before it has to streaming. Really interesting. And I wonder if that's going to be, and they're experimenting right now with it, right? Disney Plus, they're kind of a baby still when comparing to other streaming platforms such as Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu. But they're doing great. I think they picked up I don't know, there was a report over 100 something million subscribers. Just within this short amount of time that they've been around, which is fantastic. But also look at the shows that they're on there. You got stuff for Star Wars fans, Marvel fans, if you're, family with little kids, Nat Geo stuff, there's a plethora of things, something for everyone. But this is going to be interesting because so far we've only seen various Disney live action movies, Mulan, Jungle Cruise, Cruella, and I think there was one more that I can't think of, Black Widow, that are all, day and date premiere access, which means even if you are a subscriber, you will still have to pay the $29.99 to watch the film when it's out before then it becomes later on readily available for all the subscribers. But for Shang-Chi, it's different. And I'm not seeing anywhere that after the 45-day window that it's going to charge people for, premiere access. So it's just going to go straight to Disney Plus after the 45 days window, which I'm so curious to see the numbers for this and how it's going to perform in theaters.
Yeah, I mean, this is where you kind of look at this situation and go, okay, what are we looking at here? What are they playing with? What are they messing around with? And Disney clearly, I think, in a bit of a reaction to the Black Widow situation, said, okay, we're not going to drop this thing on Disney Plus right off the bat. We're releasing it in theaters. We're going to wait a little bit, and then it'll be available for people to watch with no extra charge on Disney Plus. That's what I've read. There'll be no extra charge, and I don't know if it means how long it's going to be. Do you know what I'm saying? Is it 31? I'm hearing I saw 31 days, but if you're saying 45 days, I'll take your word for it. But this is kind of shocking that they're making this adjustment on the fly. And I think if it's 31 days, that is way too short of a window.
That's very short.
Right? I mean,
that's you don't have enough time to make any money in the theaters.
Yeah. How can you possibly? And let's see, especially because people are not sure about going to the theaters and what they want to go with and what they want to go see. And so this is where I think it becomes a little worrisome to see what we're going to get as a result, because I mean, these windows, they're messing around with these windows. I mean, it's really funny when these massive studios do not have a game plan for this at all. It's almost like Armageddon, and you get those NASA scientists to figure out how to land on that damn moon or asteroid and drill a hole in it to put a nuclear bomb in it. And all these guys are coming up with weird ideas, and you're looking at the movie studios and the theater chains, and they seem like they're doing the same thing in a room. Just kind of like, I don't know, 31 days or 45 days. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, no one's ever prepared us for this crazy pandemic plus its variant.
Yes.
No one's, as far as like preparation goes, the only closest thing, like the panic of like a epidemic, is when there was a SARS breakout.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Right.
We were like much younger. And my mom was kind of like, oh, be careful with that. But with COVID, when she first heard of it, she called me almost every day. You feeling okay? You feeling sick? You're wearing those masks. You have masks, right? And it's funny that she asked me that because I'm not a stranger to wearing masks. Mm-hmm. Like I've already had my own stash because my allergies get so bad in the spring and summer that when I take out Navi outside for her walk, I have to wear it or I'm a mess when I come back in. Pollen and I are not friends, enemies. So no one could prepare us for this. Like, how do you pivot? And I think it's funny, straying just a little bit away from the conversation, is when you visit, when Dustin and I visited countries like Taiwan and Japan, they very much have, like, Japan still very much uses cash as currency. Like that's definitely a big thing. But they were also one of not the first country, but they've had like, kind of like their version of like a Apple Wallet or Google Pay or whatever, like paying via your phone years ago. While it's like people are just like, oh look, Apple Pay, Google Pay, or whatever. Like now it's, they're way ahead in that. So it's just kind of interesting to see, in the age of the pandemic, how we're trying to transition everything to like contact free. And finally, all of our debit cards is just tap. I don't even take it out of my wallet. I just put my wallet next to the thingy and it reads one of the cards. And I just go, sure, it's all the same bank account. It's fine. Yep, whatever.
Yeah. A lot of news, a lot of unknowns, a lot of unknown variables, a lot of factors in this that we still got to figure out as we go along, for sure. We've got.
And you're seeing this Wednesday, you said?
Yeah, I'm seeing it Wednesday. I turned down the chance to go to the premiere. It was very kind of them to invite me, but the idea of driving up twice, it just didn't make sense to me overall. So I just
thought you were going to go twice.
Well, I mean, because they invited me to the premiere, and then
it's usually one or the other.
Right. Well,
they would have, so.
No, that's the thing. I want to go with my geek buddies, so they weren't going to give me a plus one plus a plus one. You only get 1 + 1 for a premiere. So I was like, okay, well, I swung the ability to bring a second person with me to the premiere, to the screening on Wednesday. So that's what we're driving up to do. It's going to be a lot of fun at the LCAP. But I also felt like I wasn't in the mood. Like I'd go to a premiere with everything that's happening. It just I get it. It'd be nice to see people and stuff like that, and it'd be an awesome event. And Erica Ishii is working
I know
the event,
Erica,
which is so great.
She's gonna co-host. I don't know who her co-host is, but I'm so excited for her. I actually messaged her last night.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. So seeing like where she's kind of, risen to this opportunity, it's going to be great for her to get to do that. So it would have been nice. But in the end, I had to take the option that works best for my channel and go into that. And so I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I don't know when you're going. Are you going to the premiere? Oh, nice. Congratulations. That's awesome. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
very excited.
So
getting ready for that COVID test. You have to get it before you go.
That's true. Yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, it's coming out for us at least, it's screening on the 18th, and I'm seeing tickets already on sale for it all over the place. So
September 3rd.
Yeah, September 3rd. We shall see. All right, so we got some Streamlabs that have come through here, Wendy, and please keep sending them in, ladies and gentlemen. Send in some support for the show here. You see the Streamlabs address in the on the graphics there in front of us, and also in the description of the video and in the chat. Drunken Prayer says there is no Avatar movie apart from the one about the blue alien tree huggers, and I will never acknowledge otherwise.
Legit. Yeah.
Strong statement. Strong statement.
You know, at the screening I went to, there were people dressed up like just head to toe, and they were dressed up as Kyoshi warriors. I don't know if in your Avatar watching experience you've gotten to come across the Kyoshi warriors yet, but she was head to toe, face paint, everything Kyoshi warrior. That costume went in the trash. I saw her take it off after the just face full of just anger and disappointment. I'm like, God, I feel your frustration so much.
Oh, yeah, I bet. Travis Earl just donated a little bit. Thank you, Travis. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Philly G says, hope this donation makes it through. Bought a new phone and have had trouble getting these donations to process. Well, Philly G, it made it through. Thank you very much. Please feel free to send 10 more donations to make sure it works.
Congrats your phone on your new phone. I'm still rocking my iPhone 7.
I don't get it.
I don't need a new one yet. It still works fine. It's expensive.
All right, John Speak says, I hope Disney doesn't scapegoat Shang-Chi and use it as an excuse for not making a sequel and or including more Asian representation in movies going forward. That's a big worry. What do you think, Wendy? Please, what do you think about this?
I mean, I don't see Disney going, okay, never another Asian superhero again. And I also feel like once you're established into the MCU via a feature film, you're in the MCU. I am very curious to see how Shang-Chi is going to factor into the rest of the MCU. Like, are we going to see him pop up in another ensemble movie? And also we've got the Mandarin in this. So, that's a big deal because there's definitely links of the Mandarin to, the Avengers storyline and all the other characters we've met, like Tony Stark. Yeah. So I can't just see them going they're going to take into consideration that we are living, everybody understands we're living in the time of a pandemic. It's all we hear about. You turn on the news, turn on the radio, COVID. True. It's all we hear about. We talk about it. Yep. So I think they're going to take that into consideration. And I think that's why that 45-day window is part of the experiment to see maybe this is the right strategy for us moving forward. We don't know because till today we still don't really get to see those streaming numbers. Yeah, it's kind of, I don't know how to calculate that. Do you calculate it by new subscribers plus the people who get then pay for the premiere access, and then how do you count those? And I'm not saying do this. I am not saying do this at all. But, there's people that get the 7-day trial of XYZ platform. And then at the end of the 7 days or on the 6th day, you cancel. That's the trial. Right. So how do you take that into into factoring down all the numbers? Right. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. Yeah.
We shall see, Wendy. It's going to be crazy. I know this much.
That Travis Tastic is shaming me. iPhone 7. iPhone 7, baby, still works.
Eternation feels. Eternity and Forever feels. Who would pay $1,000 every year or more on a new phone? It's crazy.
Yeah, well, there's just other things that I want to buy.
That's fair. That's
all.
Someone mentioned your lighting equipment, saying that they watched your Instagram story of your lighting. Is that something you spent money on? They're pretty positive.
Yeah.
Is that the purple lighting?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Dustin helped me put it up because even on the highest step stool, I couldn't reach the top. So my contribution was paying for the lights and then going, yep, that looks straight. Yep. And I peel the backing off of the strip because I've got the nails. That was my contribution. He literally did everything else because I can't reach. I'm sitting there. I'm like, he's like, you're gonna eat it, and I'm like, all right, let me just. I don't need a hospital bill, so let's just avoid that, and I'll step down. Let the man who is 6'1" take care of it.
Fair point. Yeah, I've been looking at lighting myself. Some of the light blue lighting. I like the light blue lighting, and I'll see if I can make it work. So it's great to see your purple.
You can get LED strips. You can change the colors.
Oh,
Look,
I don't believe in that. Wait, no, wait, what?
Look.
Oh,
Look at
wow. Where'd you get those? Home Depot?
it's Amazon
Oh, wow.
LED strips.
And you just kind of strip it up there. And it stays there. It doesn't fall
Yep.
off or anything.
Nope, it's just sticky.
I may be asking Wendy
I'll send you the link,
please. Yeah,
I will
please.
send you the link, and it's strobes too. Hold on.
Get out of here. Oh,
It does different stuff, and you can pair music to it. I don't have any songs on my phone, but like you can pair music to it, and it'll pulsate to the rhythm of your.
you know what's funny is this is exactly what happens to your body when you get coronavirus inside. All this
It's a party.
It turns different colors. It pulsates. It's very weird inside your body. It's no joke, ladies and gentlemen.
You look like the polka dot man.
Oh man, someone feeling you as well. Wendy said, "Oh wait, where is it? I had an iPhone 6 until June of this year. Holy shit!"
I probably would have still had my iPhone 6 if it wasn't stolen. What I liked about the iPhone 6 is because you still had your earphone jack.
Yeah.
Plus the charger. So if you don't have enough money to purchase one of those, like, Bluetooth, or if you're against Bluetooth,
yeah.
I don't know, some people don't want that so close to their head. So they preferred wire. You can still do both instead of like, oh, I need a stupid little adapter to put my headphones in.
Yeah.
But I can't charge my phone at the same time. It gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I hear you. I think I still have one of my iPhone 5s or 6s somewhere.
There you go.
It's a brick. I look at it like a brick now. Anyway, let's see. We got some more here. John Speaks continues, says, there is no way Dune is going to have a sequel at this rate and will definitely not make its budget back if it stays in October, especially with the day and date release on HBO Max. Companies are going to have to cut their production budgets for future projects. Did you guys see that Emma Stone signed up for a Cruella sequel? I guess she's not thinking about suing Disney. It was also reported that Disney renegotiated The Rock's contract with Jungle Cruise before it got released on Disney Plus day and date. So yeah, I mean that's I don't know about the Dune situation. I think even if we didn't have COVID, we were looking at an uphill climb for Dune to make money, A, and to get a sequel, B, because I was watching Blade Runner 2049 last night. It was on HBO. I watched the last 30 minutes. I fucking love that movie. But I was thinking to myself, this is a masterpiece, and hardly anybody went to see it. And so I don't know Dune is going. I mean, this thing in the desert, a sci-fi thing in the desert about spice and big giant worms. I don't know if that's going to get a lot of people in the theater. So COVID or not, I wasn't expecting high returns for Dune. So, but we shall see. Oh,
really?
Yeah, I wasn't. No, because I mean, it's not like you look at Villeneuve's track record. His movies don't make a crap ton of money, so
they're just well, yeah.
They're just
they're really good. Yeah, I was gonna say they're fantastic films.
Absolutely,
more people should see them.
Right. So I mean, like, because I'm sure Dune is going to be stellar. That last trailer knocked me on my ass, but
so good.
Does that mean enough people are going to go see it? Sometimes when did we get caught thinking in the bubble sometimes, and then we go out to someplace else, and they're like, I haven't seen one trailer for it. And it's like, oh my god, what? And then they don't go see it. So it's you just never know. So yeah, good question. And yeah, what do you think about her signing on for a Cruella sequel? You like that idea? Yes.
Oh yeah, I think they left it open for a second one because we saw kind of the birth of Cruella in this one, and now I'm ready for her to dive into like the 101 Dalmatian style Cruella. Like if I don't see that gorgeous coat on her, costuming's already sketching away, making prototypes. I'm sure the second they heard that she signed on, they're like, we're gonna make the coat.
Yep.
And I think she had so much fun in that role, and there's a lot of stories to be told there with Jasper and who's the other henchman? The two.
Oh yeah, the two guys. Yeah, Paul Walter Hauser and the other guy.
Yeah. Just to kind of see how that turns out, because their relationship started to really fray. Yeah. But they still wanted to be, loyal to Cruella or to Ella. So we will, or Estella is the name.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to see how that goes. And now that they've established, the fact that she's met Anita and she gifted them some, can I say the movie's been out a long time, right?
I think so. Yeah.
But anyways, there's a connection there that can lead us directly into 101 Dalmatians. So I would not mind a Cruella 2 at all.
Yep. It made $220 million at the worldwide at the box office. And apparently Craig Gillespie, the director, and screenwriter Tony McNamara were apparently already ready to return. It wasn't, but they were waiting on the Emma Stone situation. Variety is reporting that it is a done deal. She will be back. They're closing the deal. She will be back to reprise Cruella. That's good. I liked Cruella. I loved her in it. I liked Cruella and I loved her in it. That's what I would say. Yeah, spoilers. Yeah, okay. All right, let's move on.
Sorry.
Let's move on to Britney Spears here. And reminder, there's 70 of you all watching us right now. Thank you very much for joining us. Please remember to hit that like button. And if you're watching later, hit that like button and leave a comment as well. Those help us raise the visibility of the show and what we do here in the Outlaw Nation as well. And please send a Streamlab and Super Chat before we end the show in about 40 minutes. So send in something to support the show. All right, let's move on to this Britney Spears story here. Wendy, Britney Spears' father, Jamie Spears, has agreed to step down from his daughter's conservatorship. He has been there for 13 years, ever since Spears was placed under court order arrangement. That was how they met in 2008 when she suffered a very public meltdown. All of us remember that, where she shaved her head. She was banging the umbrella, and people took advantage of it, taking pictures and all that. And of course, all these people grew a conscience once it affected their bottom line and apologized to Britney for taking her pictures and for taking advantage of her distress and her mental health breakdown. All of that.
Donate that money you made to benefit a mental health wellness charity. Go do that Hilton. Then. You made so much money.
Perez Hilton, go fucking do that. Anyway, but she's been working. She's been doing this whole thing the whole time that she's been under this conservatorship. But her father's decision to step down, according to Britney Spears' new attorney, Matthew Rosengart, is, quote, a major victory. And he intends to investigate Jamie Spears' conduct over the past 13 years and even plans to depose him under oath. This all happened because Spears' father filed a petition in Los Angeles Superior Court to be removed as the conservative of her there. And so now he will no longer be in that position going forward. Apparently, he said he's got some things to wrap up before he can fully remove himself as the conservator of her estate. But apparently he's been paying himself a nice, hefty fee while she's been working and doing stuff there in Vegas and performing around the world. And Wendy, we heard Britney in those testimonies that she did at court talk about the forced IUD, talk about the fact that she couldn't go on vacation without her father's permission, that her father's put her on an allowance. And she's the one going out there earning the money. She's the one out there doing the things that she does. And I hear people saying, oh, well, if there's a real issue here, the father is trying to protect his daughter from doing anything to herself. But like, this is her life. She's earned her money. And, people coming to see her. They coming to see Jamie Spears. So, Wendy, what do you think about this? Do you like this situation? Of course, he's pushing back saying, and his attorney's pushing back saying they did nothing wrong. They were very supportive of her and not abusive.
They just want her money.
Yeah, they just want her money.
What do you think? That's all it is. She's free bacon. All they're doing is siphoning all of them. All of them are either getting, being associated with her name or, taking, like, she doesn't even make the money that she's the one on stage performing, dancing, and putting herself out there, during her residency in Vegas. And she doesn't see all of that money. They get it all, the lawyers and him, and he's living pretty and doing who knows what. I am really surprised that he's actually agreed to step down. Like, did the social pressure actually get to him, or was there something else because she had hired a new lawyer recently, and then after that it just started to move. And not to say that the Free Britney movement hasn't been around. It's been, around ever since for a while. And then I learned of the conservatorship, and I was like, well, she seems so young to have a conservatorship. And he was, talking about how I did this for her well-being. Look, there's other ways to help people who have mental illness than putting them under concern. You're making it worse. You're literally making it worse. I feel like Britney is a really free spirit, very creative person, and she needs an outlet. And instead of letting her explore that and helping her with that, you caged her. Right. And you literally, like a caged animal. And of course she's going to act out and do stuff like you. And especially back then, when she had the meltdown, like, it's not like today where social media, where she can go on and do like an IG live and just like, have an outlet to talk. Like, the media would spin everything they would edit her out, in all of these like interviews, and he's like, oh, the raw Britney Spears. I'm like, well, how raw is it? How much is edited?
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah, it's a great point. Exactly, we don't know exactly, and so much has happened for her over the last 2 months. She was granted her own attorney, as I mentioned, the Matthew Rosengard. Her court-appointed attorney, Samuel D. Ingham III, resigned. Spears' manager of 25 years, Larry Rudolph, quit. And wealth management firm Bessemer Trust pulled out as co-conservator. And Jamie Spears apparently has been the sole conservator since 2019 after attorney Andrew Wallet resigned from co-conservatorship in this situation. And also, you can't ignore her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, I think that's her name, that there's a lot of rumors that she's been living high off the hog on her money too, on Britney's money, that Britney's dad has been kind of siphoning some of the money to Jamie Lynn. Have you heard a hit from Jamie Lynn anytime in the last few years? No, you haven't.
I remember her on Zoe 101, but I wonder if her chances had been elevated because her sister is Britney freaking Spears.
Exactly. And so you look at this, and there's a lot, and Britney went after her on social media. So that tells me that there is some real issues between the sisters here, and she may be exposing some stuff that Jamie Lynn was doing. And of course, Jamie Lynn's pleading, like she's poor or something like that. But I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. We'll see for sure. But yeah, she mentioned removing her IUD, birth control. She wasn't allowed to do that by the conservators. And despite her getting married and having another baby, she was not allowed to do that. She also claimed that her father would not let her drive in a car with her boyfriend, visit friends who lived close by, or choose what she wanted to eat or drink on any given day. So this is going to be very interesting to see.
That doesn't sound like conservatorship. That sounds way worse. Yeah. There's a trend on, and I don't know if they still do it, but there's a thing on TikTok where people tell their celebrity stories. They leave all the names out. Mm-hmm. So you don't know who it is. Okay. They don't say any names, but they say like, when I was an assistant for XYZ, I was new. And there are stories of like, this one celebrity who just be like, hey, I'm just going to leave for like 10 minutes. My boyfriend's coming by. We're just going to go to In-N-Out. And then their first day on the job, they're like, okay, enjoy your ride. And she's, do you want something? Can I bring you anything? No, I'm okay. I just say, okay, great. So she leaves, and then their handlers come in. Where does she go? Oh, she says she's going to go with her boyfriend to In-N-Out. Why would you let her out of your sight? She's not allowed to go anywhere. She can't be in the car with us. She can't have In-N-Out. And there was no name dropped. And she comes back, and she's nice as ever. She brought everybody In-N-Out, even though people were like, oh, I don't need it. I don't, want it. She, look what I have. And then the handlers, of course, change her tone. Oh my God, thank you so much. You're so sweet. And then, of course, the girl who was telling the story was like literally fired the next day because let her out of her sight. Right, and and people in the comments like, you don't even need to name names. That's Britney Spears. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. It's a shame. It's a damn shame. All right. And anything more to say on this, Wendy? We'll keep tabs on it, obviously, because he's not immediately leaving. He says he's got to wrap some things up. And what does that mean? Yeah, I know. I wonder. It sounds like he's going to make sure he's going to still get paid every year, no matter what, just for being her dad. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm sorry. I'm so disgusted. Like, yes, you may have had, a part to do with creating Britney Spears. Yeah, but it's her talent and her drive and her perseverance that got her where she is today. Yeah, exactly. And like, yes, he did obviously, like, you can be that one parent and be like, no, you're not pursuing art, singing, dancing, whatever. He could have shut it down right there. But like, so he like encouraged it, and that's fine. But like, at what point did you go from, and this is me just kind of observing, so this is just an opinion, not fact. But at what point do you as a parent go from, oh, look what my baby loves to do, and I think she's thriving in it, to the, oh, I can make so much money off of that. At what point as a parent do you do that?
Yeah, true. It's a good question. For sure. All right, let's see. We got one stream live here that came through. Philly-G says, by new phone, I mean, I bought the exact same model that isn't breaking apart because someone had the fumbles. And that someone was me. God, I hope Dune is successful. There you go. All right, thanks, Philly. Appreciate that. All right, well, let's move on here to our next section of the show. It's What's Trending.
What's trending?
What do you got?
What is trending? Well, you know, the pumpkin spice season's coming up. Dunkin' Donuts has already announced that they're bringing back their pumpkin spice latte August 18th. And I don't care if it's 95 degrees outside. I will go ahead and get one, and it'll be hot. Damn it. Because I think hot pumpkin spice beverages taste better than ice. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying I don't get it iced ever. I do. But I feel like the hot tastes better because it's got that warm, spicy in your tummy, cozy sweater weather feeling.
Oh, yeah.
But some food companies likes to really lean into this pumpkin spice trend or craze, including Cup of Noodles. The maker of Cup of Noodles, Nissin, is introducing a pumpkin spice cup of noodles.
Ooh.
So, and they even said this on their website, so they know fully well what they're getting themselves into, and they say on their website, there's a fine line between genius and insanity. Care to cross it with us? Cup of Noodles jumps on the pumpkin spice crazy train with a special pumpkin seasoning that is perfect blend of sweet, savory, and spice. The saucy noodles are ready with just a splash of water and 4 minutes in the microwave. For the full pumpkin spice experience, you can top it off with whipped cream for the quickest, tastiest, and most outlandish pumpkin spice in a cup that you never knew you needed. Coming to select Walmarts in October.
I'm sorry, coming to select what?
Walmarts.
Yeah, well, I can see that. Yep, that makes a lot of sense to me. Oh my! I don't know if I want to combine pumpkin spice latte with my noodles. That seems like a weird combo of things. I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I didn't know my mouth needed pumpkin spice noodles combined with pumpkin spice latte until I ate it. So who knows? But this seems like a weird thing to eat, don't you think? Or do you like this idea?
No, I don't. I love pumpkin spice. I have shirts that says I love pumpkin spice. I have t-shirts that say that. I don't think I want to put pumpkin spice noodles near my mouth. Although when I told Dustin about this and we talked about it, he was like, I mean, we can split one and see what it's like and make a video out of it. I'm like, I guess for shits and giggles, we could. Idea. I feel like I just want to take just one bite, just one, and then God forbid, like, what if I like it, Rocha? Yeah. What if I like it?
I don't know. What do you do if you like it?
I can't. There's no way, right? Yeah. There's no way I'd like it.
Exactly. So hold on. I got to stop. Illuminati, I'm going to block you because you're being a complete and utter asshole, being sexist and misogynistic. So go fuck yourself. You're blocked. All right, let's keep going.
Don't talk about stuff like that about my friends.
Yep. You're an idiot, man. All right, let's move on to, so is there a flavor, though, that you would like to see with
like an obscure one?
Yeah, is there an obscure one?
Ooh, great question. I'm trying to think because they have like their standard like chicken, beef, shrimp.
Yeah. What are the cup of noodle flavors? Yeah.
We're gonna go obscure. Are we? Nothing's sweet. I can't do that. Like, because when you talk about pumpkin spice cup of noodle, I literally think boiled ramen noodles inside my pumpkin spice latte, and it's just all kinds of wrong. I can't do it.
So here are the flavors: chicken, beef, shrimp, hot and spicy shrimp, spicy lime shrimp, spicy chili chicken, and hearty chicken. Those are all the flavors for a cup of noodles. And I'm getting this from the NissanFoods.com website. So those are all the flavors that are allowed. And hey, it's got no added MSG. It might come with MSG, but it's got no added MSG. One pack is 11 grams of fat, 1,160 milligrams of sodium, 41 grams of carbs. But hey, you get 6 grams of protein. So there you go. Yeah, Wendy. Okay, flavor. Give me a flavor.
I think maybe like a. Okay, it's gonna sound really weird, but it makes sense in my head. Like a baked potato.
Ooh, baked potato.
Like so, it's a little bit creamier of a base.
I like that.
Yeah, because you think of like baked potato soups.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, with like you can put some cheese. You can make it loaded. You can do like a little scallion, a little cheese, a little bacon bits on top.
Right. Ooh,
could taste good. Could.
That's good. I want a war wonton version of it where you get all the meats in there, right? You get all the meats in one. I like that version.
I like that.
Right? That's the way to go.
That's great.
It's insane to me that they don't have that. It's insane to me that they don't have that.
Not yet. What if they're watching the show and now they have to pay you a patent?
Come on. I like this idea. Kobe beef flavor. Hell yes. Kobe beef would be a nice taste. Absolutely. I like that idea.
Or you can go to your local Costco and get some Wagyu beef.
Have you been to? I told you about this last week.
You did. I've been thinking about it.
$300.
But was it a lot? It's a lot.
It's a lot. Of course, it's Costco. It's a lot. It's still $300. Who's making $300 worth of Wagyu beef before it goes bad? Not before it goes bad.
But you freeze it. You gotta freeze it.
That's insane to me. It's insane to me. All right, let's see.
Let us know in the chat if it's a yes or no on the pumpkin spice flavored cup of noodles. Would you try it or would you not?
And let us know what flavors you want to see. Oh, Draws Walker said sour cream and chives. That's all you, man. That's all you. I don't dig any sour cream flavor on anything. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm just not. Yeah.
Not
or the onion flavors. No. I really hate that. I bought one time a sour cream and onion Ritz baked crackers without knowing. I thought they were regular. I took one bite and I literally spat them on the ground in my kitchen. Like
sour cream and onion flavored?
Yeah, I can't do it. It's just not my taste.
That's a lot of people's favorite.
I know.
Pringles.
Oh, Pringles. Now you're talking. Yeah, send in your flavors as we go along here over the next 25 minutes of the show. And please keep sending in your Streamlabs and your Super Chats as well. We got two of them that rolled through here, Wendy. Major Laser says, with Blockbuster struggling to profit in the era of COVID, should studios move towards promoting more mid-budget and smaller budget films? Could Marvel make an $80 million film?
$80 million film?
I think, of course, Marvel could make an $80 million.
Yeah, they could if they wanted to, but that's very compared to, because is that including marketing?
Right,
marketing's expensive. Usually when they give us like how much they spent, that includes marketing, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. It's a lot.
And how much you're paying the stars. Yeah, so it's a lot of them to go. Could they do it? Yes, but it'd be on a smaller scale, which could essentially turn out great because everything's a little bit more condensed.
Yeah.
Tone it down a little bit, keep it really intimate and visceral. Like that could be fun.
I think you could do Daredevil for $80 million.
Oh, bring it back. Charlie Cox.
Keep it off the street. You keep it street level. There's not a lot of special effects with Daredevil. It's more about camera angles and, movements and whatever. So, and if you cast someone, if you bring Charlie's not going to demand $5 million a movie. So you can bring him back at a certain level. I think for sure 80 million is a possibility, but I think I think all the studios rather wants to be that one studio that makes the money during COVID with their film. They want to lay claim to that. So I don't think budgets are going to go down anytime soon, especially because COVID is making everything more expensive, Wendy. Like food is more expensive. Everything is more expensive now over the last year in certain food situations. So why would movies be any cheaper? I don't think they will be.
Yeah.
Let's see. Tushka said, and you can promote the smaller films all you want. Doesn't mean people are still going to go see them. People aren't going to run out to go see like The Night House that's coming out from Rebecca Hall. People are going to run out. Yeah, it does look great. I got the link. I'm going to watch it this weekend. But like people are going to run out to go see Night House. No matter how much you promote it. So. Tushka says, pumpkin spice cup of noodles for shits and giggles or spice and noodles. I feel like 2 a.m. me would be down for this trash snack. But I also like chili with cinnamon rolls. What is your guilty pleasure trash snack? Ooh,
guilty pleasure trash snack. When I was in college, it wasn't really a trash snack or guilty pleasure. It was more of I couldn't afford anything else because I was a college student. Yeah. But so we had two versions of this, and everybody I think pretty much who was in college and didn't have an obscene amount of money made this mac and cheese, Kraft's mac and cheese with hot dogs in there. But then to kind of like
it's good, I like
luxurious it up because hot dogs are a little bit cheaper. We put Spam in it.
Oh.
Rocha, never go to Hawaii. They love Spam over in Hawaii. You've been.
Spam. Wonderful Spam. Yes, I know. They dig on the Spam in Hawaii. There was a place I used to go get breakfast at in LA. I think it was called Ruts or something like that down there in West LA, and it's all Hawaiian. breakfast, all Hawaiian food and stuff like that. So
like local moco.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah. And so I occasionally would get some food there. And yes, they would put the Spam in there. But so mixed in with everything, I guess you can't taste it. So it's not a bad decision to put hot dog sliced into mac and cheese. It's not a bad idea. I kind of like that.
Spam was better, but Spam was more expensive as a college kid.
Yeah.
I was like,
I don't know if I have a trash snack. Like, what's a trash snack? I mean, does putting Cool Whip on vanilla Oreos, does that count as a trash snack?
Sure.
I mean,
why not?
I like that snack. Damn, I don't know if I have a trash snack. I'll be honest with you. I snack like a motherfucker, but I don't know if I have a trash one.
It's not really a trash snack, but we do this when we feel a little bougie. Do a little cheese board, and I always like to go to Trader Joe's and get some goat cheese, some brie, and we get a bunch of figs, and you put that together with your cheese boards a little bit. You know, it's still affordable because it's Trader Joe's, but it makes me feel a little bougie, which I love.
I mean, does dipping your fries in your Frosty? I mean, I've done that.
I love that.
Right? Maybe that's
done that in forever. Snack. Maybe that is the trash snack. Yeah, that could be that.
Okay, I'll accept that as a trash snack. Let's see. And Daniel Haygood sent in a couple of super chats.
Hey, thank you.
Plugging the Outlaw Nation Fantasy Football League for patrons. Oh yeah, in the Outlaw Nation Discord, you may inquire for the link to join. Yes, I think this year I'm going to head on back and play some fantasy football. I skipped all of it last year because of COVID. I just didn't feel comfortable doing it during COVID because I didn't like that they were having the games. You know, I was covering that we were talking about it on Game Time, but I wasn't the biggest fan. I was worried about people getting it. Now it seems like people have come to this realization that we need a vaccine. They're making it harder for people who are players who don't get vaccinated to play. And so this makes me more comfortable. So yeah, I'll definitely be doing some fantasy football. And I keep waiting for that email from Jeff to ask me to do the league with him again. So we'll see. Daniel Hagan says more movies like The Invisible Man with funding unique takes on unique takes on established IP might be the savior of the theatrical exhibition. Yeah, what do you think of that, Wendy?
I actually love the way they filmed Invisible Man because I was so nervous watching the film the whole time because she'd be in a room by herself.
Yes,
because she could be, and it's not just the Elizabeth Moss effect, who I love, because I think she is such a incredible performer. But the use of negative space and just empty spaces, because a film is called Invisible Man, you just don't know, and it's the unknown, what you can't see, scare you. And I thought it was brilliant. They really didn't have to rely on any sort of jump scares. There are some, but they didn't have to. Yeah, you know, it's such a great movie, and I remember. I think that was the last movie I saw in theaters before everything closed down. Ditto. And I'm so glad I saw it in theaters because it was so good. Like I went to a screening and then I saw it again in theaters.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember tweeting about Benjamin Wolfish's score right afterwards saying it should be nominated for an Oscar. And it wasn't, which is horseshit.
I know.
It should have totally been nominated. And he answered back, which was really kind of him. And so, I mean, that movie is incredible. It's stellar. I went to the set visit for it, remember, with Collider, and seeing Elizabeth acting alone in the room, we got to watch those scenes happen where she is seeing the person in the chair, or she thinks she sees the person in the chair, and she's having that conversation. That was the scene we got to watch. So it was, you're right, Wendy. It was awesome to watch her act in that scene. By the way, sweetest person. Sweetest, nicest, so delicate. She was awesome. Awesome person.
I heard she's super funny.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. She's very sweet. And so I love that movie. I think that movie's fantastic. And maybe that's the way to go, man. It's not a bad suggestion, Daniel. Thank you very much for that. Because Invisible Man should have gotten way more accolades than it got overall. All right, let's move on. Wendy, what else is trending here? We got to rush through these next few. What do we got here?
All right, we got a few. So Universal Studios, they're gearing up for Halloween Horror Nights as well on that coast, and they just announced their new 5 mazes. So there's new, they're highlighting these Halloween staples like ghosts, goblins, turning innocent fairy tales into something a little bit more gruesome, which is something they've done before, but it was years ago. So I love that they're bringing this back instead of going to like a movie IP, which, by the way, nothing is wrong with that, but you're a little bit more constricted to what the IP is going to allow you to do versus Grimm's brother, a fairy tale or something like that. So they have houses such as Case Files Unearthed Legendary Truth. They have The Wicked Growth, Realm of the Pumpkin. They have Puppet Theater. Oh, nope, no thanks. Captive Audience and Revenge of the Tooth Fairy. Oh, that's going to be a bloody one with like all the torture mouth tools. I can see that already. And they also have a Welcome to Scary Horror in the Heartland. And that's a house that's highlighting the iconic Horror Nights town of Cary and reliving its most memorable and horrifying haunts. And on top of that, they also have new scare zones. And what scare zones are, it's not really a haunted house. It's just portions of the park that you'll walk through. Usually it's kind of laced with like fog machine fog. And at Universal Studios Orlando, do it a little bit more differently than they do it here. The fog is so thick as you walk through it. If you hold your hand out in front of you, you can't see your hand. And that is horrifying because they're not able to do that here for some reason. Like you and I both worked it. Like I ran one of the scare zones, two of the scare zones, and it was hard to keep the fog that condensed into the area. So I don't know how they do it in Florida, but it's like props to them. So these new scare zones include Crypt TV, which is highlighting all the iconic horror stories. They have Seek and Destroy, which is a monstrous alien dystopia section. They have Gorewood Forest, and this is the land of the evil Terra Queen. And Lights, Camera, Haction, Eddie's Revenge, where attendees must escape a box offer slash. And then 30 Years, 30 Fears, which is a collection of ghouls from Scare Zones past. So it just sounds like good old fun. I love it when they go more like traditional haunted house than IP. Again, nothing wrong with IP. I just feel like you're kind of like tied down to like within the guidelines of the IP. You can't really branch out and get that creative. But with these, Scare Zone, it sounds like it's going to be a good old time. People are going to be screaming, running, dropping to their knees. That's my favorite, to see somebody get scared. And instead of like getting themselves away from danger, they just drop. And I'm like, in a real situation, you would not come out of this. You got to just get out, get away.
And just huddle.
They do this, and I'm like, "You're dead. You're dead. Get out of here. Run, fight or flight. You got to fight. You're not gonna fight, so you're gonna fight."
This is also kind of new, at least from what I remember. They're also doing 2 new live shows for when people need a break, as the article says, from running for their lives. The Marathon of Mayhem Carnage Factory, which will transform the Universal Studios Lagoon into, quote, renowned visions of fright, highlighting the scares awaiting guests inside the event. And then the Halloween Nightmare Fuel show will feature, quote, nocturnal creatures, aerialists of the night, and frightful fire performers, all set to pulse-pounding rock, metal, and electronica music. So basically, they just grabbed the dude from Mad Max Fury Road with the guitar and the fire and put him there center in the middle of the park. So interesting to have shows, Wendy.
Yeah, it is interesting for them to have shows, especially, as we're doing like where you're packed in a little bit tighter with COVID. That makes me a little nervous. Like, I think for me, I probably wouldn't sit in one of the shows, but I'd like be okay walking through, a scare zone. I think that'd be all right. So it's interesting because I think I haven't heard anything about shows for Universal Studios Hollywood, but I also know the 2 parks are set up very differently. I don't think we have any outdoor stages other than maybe the plaza, but even then, like, it's standing room only. It's not a seated, it's sort of an atrium or anything like that. And I think Florida, they have this lagoon, and it's a little bit, they have the performance space, and I think the park is actually also bigger. Yeah,
it is. And I think the reason the steam is because of the humidity down there. You can keep that steam in a certain section or make it thicker than you can in LA, because it does, California doesn't have that same kind of humidity.
That makes sense.
Orlando does, for sure.
Dude, nothing more scary than walking into a fog thinking you're holding your friend's hand, and you come out and you're not holding your friend's hand anymore.
Well, you are, and your friend's not attached to the hand anymore. That's All right, where are we off to next, Wendy? What's going on with Disney Plus?
Disney Plus is finally expanding. So currently, if you live in Korea, Hong Kong, or Taiwan, you don't have access to Disney Plus. But and that made me sad because for a little while I was thinking like maybe I'd go back to Taiwan for a little bit, spend some time with my parents. But then the pandemic happened, and that kind of like put that plan into poo-poo. But then I was talking to my mom, because I talk to her all the time via text and like via the Line app. And she's like, "What are you watching these days? Like, like Dad and I want to watch what you're watching." I was like, "Oh, on Disney Plus." She's like, "We don't have that here." I was like, "What do you mean you don't have that here?" So there's the streaming platform is finally expanding, and they're going to expand to South Korea, to Hong Kong, to Taiwan this November. So I'm very excited. This announcement was made on Thursday during their third quarter earnings filings, and this was a pleasant surprise. And then they are going to also be expanding their services in Japan. Yeah. So they're going to have more of like the featured like different general entertainment in October, which is going to be so great. And I can't wait for my mom she loves The Rock. So by the time they get it, she'll get to watch The Jungle Cruise. And I think she's going to have a grand old time watching all the shows. Yeah. Yeah. That looks awesome. I'm looking forward to it. That looks like a lot of fun, to be honest with you. So I'm happy that all these people are going to get a chance to see this now and be a part of this, and then interact with us about it in real time. So that's a good thing. It's positive. Yeah, it's going to be great. My dad and I can talk about Star Wars again because I talked to him about cool. The Mandalorian. He's like, I don't understand because I'm not doing a good job translating from English to Mandarin. Star Wars terms is not easy. I can't imagine. I can only imagine. It doesn't. Yeah, I have to like describe what the alien looks like or said creature is looking like instead of saying their names. And then when I do say characters' name, they're well-known characters like Han Solo, Luke, Darth Vader. So when I was trying to describe Baby Yoda, I think my dad got very confused because I said Baby Yoda, and so in his mind now I've screwed the entire timeline in his head. Because now he thinks it's a legit baby, actually Yoda, but baby. And I'm like, no, it's a being. He's like, no, but you said Baby Yoda. I'm like, okay, forget about the Baby Yoda, Dad. And he's like, no, but you said Baby Yoda. He can't let it go. So right, let's move past the Yoda. He has not moved past the Baby Yoda. All right, let's move on to our last section here for trending. What's this? It's K-pop corner, right, Wendy? The K-pop corner, as always, but less happy news. So this is based a story about Seungri. I hope I'm saying his name correctly, but he is a former member of Big Bang, which is like first or second generation. I want to say first generation K-pop under the entertainment label YG, which is the same label where Blackpink resides under. So he has been found guilty of just a bunch of crime, which ironically he was found providing at clubs and stuff like that, like prostitution to foreign business people. And even though various witnesses and other things have said he is not guilty, the court still found him guilty. So he's been sentenced to 3 years in jail and fined over $900,000 for the crime for providing prostitution to foreign businessmen, embezzlement, and gambling. When this was a few years ago when we first found out about this, and I went, oh, no. And he immediately was like, he had retired as soon as that news was in the reports. He immediately kind of was like, I'm retired. I'm disbanding myself from the group so that he wouldn't make the rest of his members look guilty by association. And I'm not saying they are guilty at all. They're not, they weren't interacting during that time. So he had denied the accusation when it first came about, even though he did apologize for all of that stuff. And after several evidences that were presented and witnesses saying that he was not guilty of these charges, the court still found him guilty. So now he's sentenced to 3 years plus all the fines. That sucks. If a lot of people think he's not guilty, then wow, that's weird. The court would find him guilty. Still have to pay. Yep. Yeah. So. Yeah, it's just really the crime in the system in Korea is really different. Yeah. As it is in other countries. And this is South Korea, right? Not North Korea? South Korea. South Korea. Even in South Korea, it's hardcore. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah. Not crazy. Hopefully he comes out of it, in a different state of mind. I think he can appeal. Appeal. Okay. All right. So, yeah, on 9 different charges that they have him on. Okay. Yeah. Cool. It's crazy. All right. We shall see.
All right, as we wrap up the show here over the next few minutes, we're jumping into coming soon and what we recommend. So please make sure you send in your last Streamlabs or Super Chats before we wrap up the show if you want us to answer or respond to anything you got to say about any of the topics we got going on here on the show or any topics you want to bring up on the show. Wendy, what do you got here under your coming soon? Talk to us about this. What is this?
So I haven't watched it yet, but I just heard about it, and it is a show or a film, I guess, coming to Netflix, and it's called Brand New Cherry Flavor.
Hey-o.
So it's actually a film, I think. So the plot is a filmmaker who heads to Hollywood in the early 90s to make her movie, but she tumbles down this like hallucinatory rabbit hole of like sex. There's magic, there's revenge, kittens. Sounds like a thing for me. And in the cast, Rosa Salazar.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we love her, Alita Battle Angel. Yep. And then if you watch The Good Place, Manny Jacinto is in it as well. Okay. So I am in 100%. Right. This comes out actually today. So I'll be watching that tonight on Netflix.
Nice. I got two over here coming out later on the next Friday. Two movies coming out as we mentioned, Wendy and I. The Night House is coming out here. I'm gonna take a look at this one over the weekend. It stars Rebecca Hall, Sarah Goldberg, who some of you may remember from Barry, Vondi Curtis Hall as well. And the plot is a widow begins to uncover her recently deceased husband's disturbing secrets. And if you've seen the trailer, it can be quite unsettling. And Rebecca Hall, I mean, we just saw her in Godzilla vs. Kong. She can bring it when she needs to bring it. If you haven't seen that, I think it's called Christine, that biopic she did of the real life news anchor who killed herself on air. She did an incredible job. The film didn't quite live up to her performance, but she herself did a fantastic job. And I think Rebecca's a great actress. Loved her in The Town. Loved her in Iron Man 3. I enjoyed her in that. So seeing her step into a horror genre film is pretty cool. And then Reminiscence. That's the other one coming out here. The poster's kind of weird, but that's
the one with Hugh Jackman and Rebecca Ferguson.
That the Greatest Showman reunion between I think Jenny Lind, I think was her name in the thing, and P.T. Barnum. They're getting together again. Tandy Newton or Tandway Newton, I think that's how you say it now with the W, in this, and Natalie Martinez as well. And this one's directed by Lisa Joy, so a female director there who has worked on some things here in Westworld. She's executive produced and written on Westworld as well. Burn Notice, Pushing Daisies, one of my favorite shows ever.
Oh, I love that show.
Right? It's so good. And this one is a scientist who discovers a way to relive your past and uses the technology to search for his long-lost love. So shades of The Fountain with Hugh Jackman as well. So interesting. And this time travel thing, little Inception vibe to it as well. So I hope it's good, but it looks interesting. And it's Hugh Jackman, who I love to pieces. So those are the two that are coming up soon that I'm looking forward to.
How exciting.
I know. I hope so. I hope they're good. All right, and let's go into what we recommend. And if we've got time, we'll swing around to a review. But what do we recommend? What do you got, Wendy?
It's the K-drama that I've been trying to finish. I got 2 episodes to go. After this show, I'm going to go and finish it. It's called Crash Landing on You, and it depicts a very well-off, very wealthy South Korean businesswoman goes parachuting or paragliding parachute. No, it's just a parachute. And kind of comes face to face with a bad storm, wraps her up, and she lands. When she wakes up, she's landed in North Korea.
What?
She's in North Korea now, and it's her journey of who she meets there, how she comes back, the political, kind of back and forth revenge, the seedy underbelly, the crime syndicates, all of that in one K-drama.
Right.
So good.
Interesting.
I'm obsessed. You have no idea. I was watching it. Dustin said that I kept on inching closer to the TV last night as I was watching. I'm just like kid in a candy store. So good.
So it's on Netflix. Is that what you said?
It's on Netflix. Okay. Yeah, it's called Crash Landing on You. So the thing with K-dramas is they do take a little bit to start. So you gotta just kind of bring your patience with it. Okay. And then I also appreciate watching foreign films and foreign dramas. Yes. For the acting, because it's different. Yeah. The acting style is different, and because the culture obviously is different. So I love how with K-drama, I am sometimes way more invested in a K-drama than a US show.
Ooh.
Who sometimes, not all US shows,
Right.
maybe some like HBO shows rely, a bit on the TNA, the skin and all that stuff. K-drama really doesn't utilize any of that. They don't even utilize kissing and any sort of like, anything like that, because it's the culture.
Right.
But I swear you're going to be so emotionally invested in every single one of these characters' relationships. And when they do, inevitably, when you watch a K-drama, when they do the shoulder grab or the wrist grab, you're going to lose your mind. I do every time. He grabbed her wrist.
I love
screaming. Yeah, it's great.
Well, I recommend, if you're a sports fan, and some of you guys watching do enjoy sports, if you haven't watched the new documentary that dropped on Netflix on Tuesday, called Untold: The Malice in the Palace, it's all about that moment in the 90s when that Detroit Pistons fan threw the beer at Ron Artest while he was lying on the scores table, and Ron Artest went into the stands, beat people up. People from his own team rushed into there. People came down into the court. People from the Detroit Pistons, the players went into the stands. A big, huge brawl broke out there in Detroit. And this is my favorite documentary on this, because you've got all these current interviews with the Pacers players, with Ben Wallace, with some of the cops that were there, with some of the fans that were acting like assholes. So really interesting exploration. It's about an hour and 10 minutes. Well worth your time. Very, very well done. Reggie Miller, Steven Jackson, Jermaine O'Neal. It's kind of tragic and heartbreaking. I think it also give you a new perspective on what happened that day for sure. And the other one I recommend is, if you're not watching right now on Hulu, Reservation Dogs, you need to make an appointment to watch this show. It's a set on a reservation. It's a Native American comedy show. Well, not comedy, kind of real life dramedy show. And these 4 young Native American kids who are just trying to live on the reservation, do their thing, have some unique interactions with some unique characters all around. Taika Waititi is one of the executive producers on the show, and it's all about them trying to kind of figure out their lives on the reservation, how to make some money, because they want to head to New York. So or California rather. So it's very interesting, very funny, unique show. Reservation Dogs. It's on Hulu now. Definitely watch it. So
nice, great. And are they out already? Right? Both.
Yes,
of these?
The first 2 episodes are out right now for that, and the documentary as well. Okay. Anything else we should touch on, or do you want to roll?
You want to talk a little bit about ESPN Center?
Respect is out this weekend. I'll be dropping my review tomorrow, for my full review for it tomorrow. But I'll tell you this right now: if you want to go and enjoy Jennifer Hudson, I think this is a film that you can do that in. The overall film, unfortunately, doesn't quite live up, in my opinion, to the performance that Jennifer Hudson is delivering. I think you get great work from Forrest Whitaker. I think Hannibal Buress is a great. Oh, is that his name? The gentleman from Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. He's great in this film, and so is
Marlon Wayne.
Yeah, Marlon Wayans is just unrecognizable performance from him. And Audra McDonald as well as Aretha's mom. Does it fully, it becomes too important, too self-important. And I think that kind of drags the film down a little bit. And it's 2.5 hours, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a short film. But then again, Aretha lived a long life.
Yes.
But Jennifer has 2 or 3 performances of Aretha's music that will knock you on your ass. And it's kind of worth the price of admission just to see that. I had chills twice watching her perform a couple of things, and it certainly explores her life and the multiple periods of sadness and the demons in her life. That's all explored in the movie. What did you think? Did you get a chance to see this one?
I did. I got a chance to see it. I also felt that while I enjoy Jennifer's performance, the film felt too long. Like you felt the 2.5 hours. Sometimes films are 2.5 hours and it breezes by. You're like, no, another 20 minutes, please. Yeah. But also I understand that, like you said, Aretha's lived a very long and full life. So I can't see a movie being shorter Because and even with the 2.5-hour runtime, there are still events and important moments in her life that I wish we got to see instead of other moments, but not to say some are more or less important than the others. As far as Jennifer's performance, obviously it's fantastic. She's got the voice of an angel, powerhouse, vocal cords there, and amazing, like just musical performances. Those are really, really great. But also to me, and as much as like I think Jennifer tried to embody the Queen of Soul, it was still hard to replicate what Aretha had, which I don't think many people can do. But she definitely, paid her tribute to Aretha's music, and it was definitely very well showcased throughout the whole movie. Like if you go into watch an Aretha film, it better have a ton of her hits and her music, and it certainly had a lot of that, which is kind of checked off all the boxes for me. But I did feel like the movie felt a bit too long, and there's other moments that in her life that I wish we had seen. Especially, they brought up certain points of like certain people that had an impact on her life, but they didn't really show much interaction with these people. And I was like, so what makes it more important? Then I wish they had showed the emotional of that, so the payoff would have been greater. Because like I felt sad because it happened, but I didn't connect with those moments.
Yeah. I think Wendy's absolutely right. That's where the film falls a little bit short in showing you or helping you feel what the certain moments did to her as a human being from the inside out. There could have been more to explore there for sure. So, all right, there you go. That's our show for today. John and Wendy Explain the World. Thank you all so much for joining us here on the Outlaw Nation channel. We appreciate all the super chat, Streamlabs, and we love you all being very lively in the chat. It's always fun to read you all's back and forth with each other as well. So much fun. Wendy, thanks again for another fun show. Where can they find you? Anything you got going on?
You can find me on the Movie Couple channel on YouTube, over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Wendy Lee Zany, and then Twitter and Instagram. It's the same thing. I don't even know how to do my sign off today. At Wendy Lee Zany. It's starting to get hot in this apartment because the sun is hitting this. You can see it in the shot. So it's a little warm. I host Pop Council on Mondays over at the HCA YouTube channel with Jamie Fobrick, so go ahead and check that out. And I think that's that.
Okay. And you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram, as you see down there. You can also head on over to Twitch, The Outlaw Nation. Head on over there, hang out with me as I'm doing all kinds of stuff there as well. And then the patreon.com/John Rocha. There, good stuff going on in the Outlaw Nation Discord. Fun people to hang out with. Trust me, you get 2 hangouts every week, and then we will be doing some watch-alongs, and then they hang out and have conversations on the Discord till 4 a.m. sometimes. They're great people over there. So get involved with that if you haven't joined the Patreon. Keep supporting things we do here on the Outlaw Nation channel as well. And look out for my reviews for Coda and for Respect this weekend. And also, what's the other one? Oh, and I'll be posting my interview with Richard E. Grant coming up soon in the next couple of weeks. That's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I got to sit down with him for a junket for his new Amazon Prime show. New Amazon Prime movie. Everybody's talking about Jamie. And we traded drag queen names, talked to Loki, and even got into how he approached taking this role on, which was really fun. So very, very nice guy. Very, very nice.
How exciting.
Yeah. Totally a life highlight for sure. And so sweet. Just very genuinely awesome. And that movie is damn good. I'll just leave it at that. I can't say too much. That's all I can tell you. That movie is damn good. So, all right, we're out of here.
If you enjoy Cruella, it's the same actor. It's the shop owner.
Right,
He's
Max.
Yeah.
God damn it. Should have mentioned that. Oh, well, that's how it goes sometimes. All right, well, take care of yourselves. Be well. We love you madly. Be safe. Wear those masks. Wash your hands and all that jazz. And then come back and join us next week for another brand new episode of John and Wendy Explain the World. Take care until then. Peace.
Bye.